minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. Minus 6 minutes. Minus 5 minutes. Stand by.
How about that?
Happy Monday, everybody. Up, and away into a brand new week. Hope you had a really good weekend. I really do. I hope you're looking forward to a great week. Scruffy's with me. You're going to see him in seconds. Our good friend Jim Clubber Lang's going to be joining us coming up in hour 2. The guest spot for Prairie Panels. Check him out at prairiepanels.ca. Just a whole lot of sports going on. And do me a favor, please, and comment and like and share if you're watching on YouTube or whatever means or wherever you are. Engage with us. That's what we do. The text line's already open, 902-518-3033. People are rocking and rolling into a brand new week. Scruffy, how about you, my friend? What's popping? How are you?
I'm good. Rough week last week, but hey, let's get back on the horse and get moving.
Our condolences on the passing of your father, for sure. I informed as many viewers as we could of that. Tough, but a great man. A great man, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I could go on, but we got sports to talk about, so.
I got you. Well, he did a nice job with you, Scruffy. So that's why I was texting you throughout the week to see how you're doing and anything you need. Here it is. But I tell you what, depending on the sport and the team, it can be really good therapy. I don't know where you stand on that. And the big story, because there's a lot of big stories coming out of the weekend and in sports right now, but it's still the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's be honest. I don't know how much hockey watching you watched yesterday. Here's the scores, okay? Montreal blasted Buffalo 6-2. The Habs have gone up 2-1, and that series, to me, that series is over. Anaheim beat Vegas 4-3, and that series is tied 2-2 heading back to the Fortress. Mitch, hands up for anybody who thought the Habs were going to steamroll their way to the Eastern Conference Final. I'll be honest, I picked Tampa to beat him in round 1, so what's it like there in Canada, Habs-wise?
Well, Roddy, you and I both know there are Hab fans out there that are celebrating for the first time in a long time, and they should be. I thought Montreal, if they could beat Tampa, and I was like you, I thought that maybe Tampa's experience at this time of year would catapult them to a win over Montreal. But I thought if Montreal won that series, I thought they could maybe get to the Stanley Cup final, because I'm not sold on the Carolina Hurricanes yet, and I guess maybe part of that is past history, where the Hurricanes have gotten through the first 2 rounds with little resistance, and then they get to the Eastern Conference Final and they get slapped around by whoever, whether it was Tampa or Florida or the Rangers or whoever. So I'm not sold on them yet. And I like the Carolina Hurricanes, and I like Rod Brind'Amour, and I know why everybody's picking Carolina to come out of the East, and I understand that, but I think Buffalo, if they come back, or Montreal, I would favor them right now, because I'm just not sold on Carolina. But how about the Montreal Canadiens? Wow.
Yeah, well, I asked. I'm getting your opinion on it. Like, what I love right now, I'll be honest with you, is the history. And I was saddened a little bit this morning while listening to NHL radio, Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin, because they said the young people, because I don't really care what the young people think, but they brought it up. They don't know who Patrick Roy is. And guys of your and my age and older do remember Ken Dryden. And Jakub Dobish is doing the things that those two guys did. And Gordy Stellick was like, oh, the kids don't know those guys. I'm like, that's what makes us love hockey. That, and then
Roddy,
the
I heard
Carolina's
somebody
gone
say...
Yeah. What?
Sorry. I heard somebody say during the Tampa series that Jakub Dobish was doing his best Yaroslav Halak.
I heard that too.
Just laughed for the exact same reason you just did. Like,
say Carey Price if you're going to
Roy?
say anybody. Oh my God, you say
Yep.
Price if you want to talk about somebody in the last generation. But yeah, so there's
Right.
that, and then the other thing. But again, the history. I don't know if you read the NHL game notes or if you're part of the morning skate thing that they do. But they said the Hurricanes are the first team to go 8-0 into the conference finals, and the 5th team to sweep the first 2 rounds. I'm like, what is that? How's that? Isn't that the same thing? But then I was reading a little more this morning, and it's like, oh, wait, the first round was best of 5 back in the day.
Yeah.
So that makes sense now. But I forgot. It was only 40 years ago. That's the part that I like about this a lot, is the history. Am I the only one? Like, are you being reminded of history at all in this?
Oh, absolutely. Every series, maybe with the exception of Anaheim, Vegas, because there's not a lot of history there with those two teams, even though they've been around for a long time. But yeah, I get a kick out of whenever I'm watching ESPN or Sportsnet or TNT or whoever, just with the little nuggets of information they come up with. It's like, oh yeah, okay.
Right. And then you move on. So there's that. Listen, we got a football to get to on the other side of the break, but here's another one, dude. Like, you and I got into this business too long ago because we remember the good days. I've heard 3 big-time national NFL reporters refer to the number 1 overall pick by the Raiders as Francesco Mendoza. And I'm like, how did you guys get your jobs?
Really?
And how do you keep your jobs? Do you know what I mean? Like, you kind of used to have to be good and know your shit.
Yeah,
is that too much to ask? You know what I mean? Okay.
I hear ya. And you know what? Part of it, Roddy, if they make a mistake, they just gloss over it. And I don't know if there's enough people out there to really call them on it anymore.
Well, the bosses, the bosses don't know, clearly. So, so by the way, because we're up against it for the first break here. The big story is the Stanley Cup playoffs, but coming up, we've got NFL schedule release, some CFL notes, obviously MLB, NBA playoffs, some offshoots coming off of all of these stories. How about the 83-year-old head scout of the Vancouver Giants being fined $5,000? I missed your column this weekend, Mitchell. I missed your column and all your take on the goings-on. And the guy said, Cami Kepke, who we know really well, from WHL.ca, was interviewing the 83-year-old scout for the Vancouver Giants. He said, you're a good-looking girl. And the team got fined $5,000. Like, just hold your applause, everybody. We'll get to that coming back in the break. Because I have my own thoughts. It's actually in my Monday morning goalie column right now, if you can't wait. WHL final. Are you going to be into World Cup at all, Mitch? Yes or no?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, at least one of us will be. So there's that. They're still talking down here about Victor Hedman going public with his mental health issues, whether he should or he shouldn't. I don't honestly think that he should have. They're still talking about that around here because in various markets, if your team's not playing, what else are you going to talk about? Anything not related to the teams that still are. But anyways, we have a lot to get to today. And Jim Lang coming up in hour 2. We'll be right back, everybody. This is the warm-up for Uniglobe Carefree Travel on the RP Show.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the warm-up brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel Group, the preferred travel partner of the RP Show, and the BC Lions. BC Lions owner Amar Doman is coming on the show next Tuesday. So everybody mark that down on your calendar. Next Tuesday, he's reached out. He said, let's do this. When it comes to sports trips, group travel, or your next great getaway, trust the pros who handle every detail so you can enjoy the journey. Contact Neil Chark with the Uniglobe Carefree Travel. Breaking news, Scruffy, from Pierre LeBrun of The Athletic today. Shane Doan and the Toronto Maple Leafs parting company. You're probably not shocked by that, are you?
Not at all.
Are you okay? Are your allergies acting up?
I'm battling a cold. So you know how it is when you get stuff draining down the back of your throat?
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't fun.
I think they call that
post.
Yeah.
We're good. If I bail out of the picture for a second, it's just because I've just sort of gone to just sort of blow my nose. So
I got it. Hey, so we explained it to everybody what's going on. I appreciate Scruffy playing hurt here today. So Shane Doan out with the Leafs. I'll get to more of that a little later on once Scruffy adjourns. Point two, the 2026 NFL
Those two guys never had a good relationship
schedule.
in Phoenix either, did they?
The 2026 NFL season schedule will be unleashed in its entirety on Thursday, May 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Although you could expect some high-profile matchups to be strategically announced in the days and hours beforehand. The poll question today for Country Thunder is, are you looking forward to the NFL schedule release? What are you voting, Scruffy?
Always. Then it's time to figure out how my Sundays are going to be spent, or Mondays, or Thursdays. We found out today that your Cowboys are going to play the Giants on the first Sunday night football game of the year. We still don't know who the Seahawks are going to play in the opening game of the year, but we know it won't be the Rams or 49ers because they're in Australia. My money's on the Chicago Bears because that's an up-and-coming team. But there are some that think it'll be the Kansas City Chiefs. Just so that Chris Collinsworth can start gushing over his good buddy Patrick Mahomes again.
Well, it's the damn schedule. Like, I voted yes because I'm like, get in the fast lane, Grandma. The bingo game's about to roll. Just get with it. Okay? Like, for me, as a guy like you, can I finish what I was saying?
Yep.
As a guy like you that called games for a very long time, I never really got into the schedule release because I'm like, I'll be where the schedule says to be. For you, same thing, right? With the Rams and various Pats games you may call. Just tell me when and where to be there, and I'll be there. It's a little different now. As a fan, it dictates your life a little. Like you say, you pick and choose, and you know what your schedule is going to be based on this. So, yeah, yes, I never used to be, but I am now. And as you say, the NFL's been dropping the tidbits. It was the NFL this morning that announced that it would be the Cowboys and the Giants on the Sunday night. My friend Chris from the Bronx, that'll be our first bet because he's obviously a Giants fan and I'm a Cowboys fan. And the Cowboys have won 8 of the last 11. Just putting that out there. But what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, well, two things. The Cowboys are favored by 1.5, so there you go, because the odds are already out. And another team that the Seahawks could play, but I'm thinking the NFL and the networks maybe don't want to do this, are the New England Patriots. Because as I heard on NFL radio on the weekend, I think the networks want to stay as far away from the New England Patriots in week 1 because of the Mike Vrabel situation.
I got to say this for the audience. I would like to know, that might have been a good poll question. Are you interested in the Vrabel talk or not? Because I'm going to tell you something. You're sitting there in Canada. You're awash with Stanley Cup playoff coverage and talk, and probably a lot of Blue Jays too. I don't know. Here, Mitch, you can't go anywhere sports related that they're not talking about Mike Vrabel. Like this morning, I was driving to the gym. I got it on WQAM. They're taking calls on Mike Vrabel and the Patriots and how long will he be coach? And every day
they're
there's something new
taking
coming
calls.
Out. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Like you know how much I love Joe Rose, the calm Terry of South Florida. Like some caller goes in and goes, "How do you think Mike Vrabel dealt with Mother's Day?" Joe snapped, and he's like, "Worry about your own Mother's Day. Don't you have a?" I'm like, I know you've been a little busy. You probably haven't read my columns or my newsletter, Mitch, but I said, I'm surprised the NFL hasn't manufactured some controversy as a diversion from this Vrabel talk. Because Goodell's going to just be going, what a horrible time for this, because there's nothing else going on.
Yeah, it's not good. And I guess the schedule, when it comes out, that'll be where you go, but yeah, right now, you know what, Roddy? I'm actually surprised, and maybe I shouldn't be. I'm surprised that Mike Vrabel's still the coach of the New England Patriots. And I only
There's
wonder
one reason
if
why
he hadn't have gotten that team to the Super Bowl last year, if they were a 9-10 win team, got bounced in the first round of the playoffs, I'm wondering if they'd have sacked him. But everybody would know why you're doing it if you did it. So, I don't know. It's just a very awkward situation.
To put a bow on that, I'll quote Kim Bokamper, legendary Miami Dolphin, that was on the air with Joe Rose and goes, the only reason he's still there is he had him in the Super Bowl. And he might be the best coach in the NFL. So, case closed. Carlos in Indiana says, don't care about it. And a lot of people don't. Everybody else is talking about it, so why would we talk? Thank you, everybody, for straightening us out. They do want to. We'll get to the CFL a little later on. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I know the CFL schedule release is always a big day to me. It is for those. I wish they would make it a bigger deal. I appreciate you, Jeff, the Stamps fan, for bringing that up. I wish they would make it a bigger deal than they do. But people here today want to talk about Stanley Cup playoffs. Matt DeBuck has checked in. He says, go Habs, go. Jeremy in Winnipeg, ole, ole, ole. Scruffy's drip is giving him problems. He'll be right back. Utah Darren writes in. He says, Vegas has given Anaheim the one thing the better team cannot give an opponent, hope. Did Vegas give it to him or did Anaheim take it? That's a really good point. But Anaheim, you got to give them a lot of credit for what they're doing in this series. I did not think they had it in them, Mitch.
I knew they would give Vegas a battle. I didn't know if they could win this series, but now I'm wondering if they can. And, the Mark Stone injury certainly doesn't help Vegas's cause. Mitch Marner has stepped up And how much of a kick in the nads would that be if Vegas won the Cup and Mitch Marner was the Conn Smythe Trophy winner? I think that Mitch has silenced a lot of people with his play. But I think, Roddy, that Game 5 is going to be the pivotal game in that series because I don't know if one team can win 2 straight in that series, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Well, other than Philly, you go into round 2, it's the Elite 8. We now, Mitch, could see any one of these, 7 of the 8 winning the Stanley Cup. I think Philadelphia's got swept. They didn't belong. But Anaheim, if Anaheim went on to win it, how could we say no? It would be weird. And even Montreal, they've been getting better every year. But this Jakub Dobeš thing, thanks for showing up, Coach DeBuck. We were talking about this earlier. It's happened in Montreal before. It's what they do. Patrick Waugh, Ken Dryden, winning Stanley Cups as rookie goalies. Jakub Dobeš is like the latest. So any of these teams now is my point. But having said, how much of the Vegas-Anaheim series have you watched?
Not as much as I would have liked. I saw the first 2 periods last night before I tapped out for the evening. Good hockey game. I thought Anaheim controlled the play for the most part. But that's a good series. Is it as good as what Buffalo-Montreal has been? I'd say it's been better. And the Minnesota-Colorado series, that series has been so crazy because, Colorado did what they did in Game 1. And I thought Minnesota's been the better team throughout the first 3 games as a whole. And we'll see what happens tonight. And I'm interested to see if Jared Bednar makes a change and goes with Mackenzie Blackwood in net after Wedgwood had really his first bad game of the playoffs.
I want to get to the viewer comments, but I got you, and I don't want to waste your time. Scott in Vancouver writes in, he says, I had that for 1 day, Scruffy. I thought it was allergies at first. Only one nostril plugged in, dripping, plus a headache. Then gone. So hopefully it doesn't last. Bill from Whitby, Ontario says, good one, Scruffy. Every Leaf fan has to love your Mitch Marner comment. Well, let's get real here for a second. Here's what I'm very happy for all the Habs fans. I poke a lot of noise at DeBuck because I'm like, I didn't hear you talk about the Habs till now. But he's from Montreal, so I get it. But the Habs fans, they don't rip their own players. They don't rip their ex-players. They just cheer for their own team. Leaf fans, they kind of make me sick. Marner was the problem. Freddie Anderson's the problem. How's that working out? This coach was the problem.
I never thought about him, yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, at what point do you guys look in the mirror and say, you're the problem? They've never done that in Toronto, I don't think.
No. You could maybe say that in Edmonton, too.
Go on.
Well, Roddy, I don't think it's any secret that some moves have been made just to maybe appease a fan base that just can't take these guys anymore. Jordan Eberle's one of them. Stuart Skinner's another. The Darnell Nurse thing, I think even if Darnell Nurse had a reasonable contract, I think Edmonton fans would want him out of there. It's just the fact that contract, everybody knows what an albatross it's been. People are talking about Evan Bouchard being traded now because of the season he had. And then you've got other people saying, what a joke, he wasn't nominated for the Norris. Well, I'm an Oilers fan, Roddy. Let's just put it out there like this. Would you rather have Evan Bouchard or Lane Hudson? Because if you'd rather have Evan Bouchard, you might want to give your head a shake.
Anybody would take Lane Hudson. He's the quarterback of the best power play in the NHL. And is he even 20? So,
he is, but I guess just barely.
Right. And so back to that Leaf thing. So they fired Shane Doan today. Oh, boy. Not that this is the Arizona show, but it's becoming rapidly, as I'm realizing, the NHL show. There was an article in the Arizona Republic circulating this weekend just destroying John Jacob, just destroying him. Called him a fraud and all this stuff. It was sent to me. I sent it to, I don't think you'll mind me saying, Jeff Chikrin, because his son played for the Coyotes for 7 years. And Jeff was like, I have no problem with John Chayka. I think it was an excellent hire by the Leafs. And I just said, Chick, you're the only guy saying that. And actually, I'm surprised it took a week for Doan to part ways with the Leafs. What is the take in Canada there with the Leafs and John Chayka, by the way?
Well, after the Steve Simmons thing, and we knew it was sort of a questionable hire when they made it. Then the Steve Simmons thing got everybody going. And I think it's a case now that everybody needs to see just what this guy is going to do. And there are even some people out there, Roddy, that think that they might not take Gavin McKinnon with the first overall pick and that they'll take Stenberg. That would be crazy if you ask me, but who knows? And
nothing would surprise me with that outfit.
Well, same with me. I just don't know where that team's going. I really do question that hire. It's bizarre. But
Hang on. We'll be right back. More with Scruffy and all of the great Canadian sports talk when we return on the RP Show right after this.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Dean, Brody, and the Reckloss teaming up for the Hometown Heroes Tour.
If there's work, you know I'm gonna work.
Live at Temple Garden Center, November 9th.
Can't blame nobody else. I can't help myself.
Two of Canada's biggest country acts. One stage, one unforgettable night on the Hometown Heroes Tour. Tickets on sale now at the Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is the RP Show. Scruffy's with me. It's still the warm-up, if you can believe, for Uniglobe Carefree Travel, and we have a lot of things to get to. I was just making a post there about Shane Doan and the Toronto Maple Leafs parting waves. I know it's not the biggest news. Well, I mean, maybe it is big news for Canadian sports fans. Winnipeg Jet, great. The article in the Arizona Republic this weekend is a good one, and it's what people don't realize, Mitch. It wrote about how Shane Doan was kicked around from pillar to post, crapped on by that Coyotes organization, and shown the door by John Chayka eventually. He met for breakfast like the first day on the job almost for Chayka, and Shane's like, "Wow, we're going for breakfast. Cool." Sat down, didn't even order yet. Chayka's like, "You're done." Shane, what? You're done. Clean out your shit.
Do you think that's a surprise?
Okay. No, I'm surprised it took this long. But all I'll say
Right.
is, for Leaf fans that don't know, and you know a lot, and I know a lot, do you understand what you're in for? Because when you're showing the door to quality people, what's been done to Shane Doan here, I don't know where this team's going. It's not good. Do they understand this team's going to hell in a handbasket and fast, Mitch? Have you got that sense that they know that?
Roddy, I just don't know what the vision is for the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. And obviously, the John Chayka hiring has been well scrutinized. A lot of people thought that there's going to be a massive rebuild coming in Toronto. And then they win the lottery. So now you wonder what that does to the future plans. And now there's talk this weekend about Austin Matthews, and should the Leafs trade him to San Jose to get that number 2 pick? And I actually think that wouldn't be a bad thing. If Toronto could get themselves a Sam Dickinson and another mid-draft pick or something, and a guy like a Colin Graff, I don't know if that would be a bad deal for Toronto if Matthews doesn't want to come back. But now people are saying that with McKenna there, McKenna becomes the new Mitch Marner for Matthews. So I don't know if the Leafs even know what they're going to do because of what happened last week with the draft lottery. But
they'll just check with AI, I think. They'll check with AI.
Well,
but hey,
that's what I'm just
you're
gonna
old enough.
say.
You're old enough to remember.
It's going to be
Gavin
fascinating
McKenna
to see
not?
what they
Hey,
do.
Is Gavin McKenna not the next Wendell Clark? Like, he doesn't hit and fight like Wendell, although maybe he does. But I mean, he is the heart and soul guy, it would seem, that you would want. Why would you not draft him, or why would you pick it? Like that, he's all that, right? We didn't come all this way for nothing. To not draft the kid.
I would put Gavin McKenna more in a Mitch Marner than a Wendell Clark comparison.
Oh, yeah. Well, very skilled.
Wendell was
more
different
skilled
player.
than Wendell.
Wendell was a bruiser, and I don't think McKenna's a bruiser.
Right. I'm just saying, I feel like he's your future captain from everything that I've seen. That's all. I think the Leafs got very fortunate.
Was he the captain at Medicine Hat?
No, but he was a kid. He was 17, which is very rare for somebody that young to be a captain.
Celebrini's the captain for Team Canada in the Worlds at 19.
I'm just saying he wasn't, and it's rare
I know.
in junior for that to be the case. While I have you here, the picks are always a lot of fun. There's only one NHL game tonight. It's for Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral, and Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Who wins tonight, Colorado or Minnesota, as they play in Minnesota? I'll go first. I'm going to take the Wild. Why not make this thing a series?
So
you too? You're saying it?
Yep.
Why not make it a series, right? Okay.
I hear you.
While I have you here, 902-518-3033, Vintage Sasko writes in. He says, cheers to Scruffy and Smokey. Let's kick ass this week. That's the plan. That's what's on the docket. Since it's the Canadian Hour, Mitchell, the Vancouver Giants fined $5,000 from the Western Hockey League for their 83-year-old head scout in an interview with Cami Kepka of the WHL.ca, saying that you're a good-looking girl. My thoughts, I'm not hiding them. I'm like, what are we doing here? I've known Cami a long time. She's tough as nails. She can handle it. Maybe you agree. Some people that maybe you agree with the fine and that it was inappropriate. Where are you on it?
Call the police, Rod. Shame on him. No, I think this is a really bad look for the Western Hockey League. I'm sorry. And I agree with you with Cami. I think she does a tremendous job with the Western Hockey League. An unfortunate situation for her or any female broadcaster out there. But it's not like, he's what, 83 years old? Like I think I saw somebody on one of your columns this week, I think it might have been on Glenn Erickson's column, saying 80-year-olds don't really have the filter today that they're supposed to have.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I just think it's a bad look for the Western Hockey League. And if they were going to do this, maybe do it without publicizing it. But maybe that's something they have to do. I don't know.
Well, I was watching when the Florida Panthers visited the White House. Donald Trump went through the whole line. And I don't know if you know what Anton Lundell looks like off the top of your head, but I think he's hot. Anton Lundell. And Trump looks at him, shakes his hand, and he's like, "Oh, aren't you good looking? Wait till the world kicks you in the nuts." And I'm like, right? But I was very different intention, but same thing. I don't see the NHL fining the president for saying that. Go ahead.
Has any female broadcaster ever said anything about Henrik Lundqvist?
But a lot of women have. But you know what? As a matter of fact, right. John Chayka's sister, Megan Chayka, I'm not sure who she's working for. She has worked for TSN. She's an analytics gal, just like her brother. She took to Twitter to defend Terry Bonner and said some of these older folks mean it as a compliment. They don't realize that it's not appropriate anymore. Like, there's been a lot of female media types defend the guy, which doesn't happen very often.
Nope. No, as I said,
So,
you know what?
anyway.
If he was, and I'm just going to throw a name out there, just whatever. Like, if Cami was doing one of her interviews in the Western Hockey League final, and by the way, I hate those interviews behind the benches. I think they're useless. I don't care who's doing them. And the ones that she's done in the first two games to me have been useless, but whatever. But if Ryan McDonald or Steve Hamilton said that to her, yeah, you've got a problem. Like if Ryan McDonald goes, gee, cute girl asking me a tough question. Yeah, that's a different story. But again, Terry Bonner's 83 years old. Like, if Bob Cole said that to Jennifer Botterill, would there be outrage?
Oh, boy. Hang on. There's a lot of questions coming in. I'll get to your questions, guys, after Mitch is done. We got 2 minutes left here with Scruffy. But I did a banquet. You said Jennifer Botterill with a Montreal Canadiens legend. The things he was saying were so unbelievably inappropriate. And by the way, he was old too. It wasn't some young. We're like, he carried the torch out at a recent game. One thing he said on the mic, this is in front of the whole room at McKenna
I know
Hall
what you're
and Weyburn.
talking about.
Right. McKenna Hall and Weyburn, the whole room. He goes, nice boots. They'd look very good in the corner of my room tomorrow morning. What? We weren't even laughing.
Wow.
Okay. Jason in Red Deer says he comes from a time when people said what they want. It didn't matter. Just like Don Cherry. Again, I don't know. I guess we're sitting here as men saying it's harmless. Maybe we should ask the women. I don't know. But as I say, a lot of women came to his defense and said it's not that big. One thing I do know about the female reporters, because I'm close to a lot of them, they get way worse said to them when there ain't no camera rolling.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
I think we can all agree on that. Okay, Mitch, take care of that nasal drip. I appreciate you playing hurt. Thanks for coming on.
Not a problem. Hopefully be 100% tomorrow.
Okay. Viewer takeover the rest of the way and a sports update. So get your questions and comments in. 902-518-3033 is the text line for Western Dodge. Drive with confidence. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your rebel, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. On a Monday, the Hockey Report is brought to you, as always, by our friends at the Mad Greek. You're watching hockey tonight, right? Why not make the trip down to the Mad Greek for legendary ribs? The best. Delicious pizza and late-night bites. It's the Mad Greek Eatery, open until 11 p.m. Tell Johnny the Mad Greek that you saw us talking about him on the RP Show. Breaking news today out of Toronto, the Maple Leafs and Shane Doan parting ways, and it is big news around here and across Canadian hockey circles. Shane Doan, a former Kamloops Blazers great, friend of mine. I posted photos of us all over our social media today. I'll just say this for the Leafs fans. I don't mind saying it anymore. When you start doing these things to really good people like Shane Doan, may God have mercy on your franchise's soul. If you have one, I don't think the Leafs have a soul, but I feel like this outfit is not getting off to a really good start. Oh, by the way, the poll question, which we do every day, is for Country Thunder, the biggest party of the summer, coming to Craven, Saskatchewan, July 9th to the 12th, featuring Lainey Wilson and Creed. Get your tickets now at countrythunder.com/SK. Just $20 down secures your weekend pass. The poll question today, we have not had this resounding of a result ever. The poll question is, are you looking forward to the NFL schedule release Thursday? 100% of respondents saying yes. 100%. And the way the NFL has built themselves into the machine that they are in terms of every little thing that they do is front page news, is a topic for another time. It's a thesis. It's I don't know what. Je ne sais quoi, but it's amazing. The warm-up is brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel and Neil Chark out of Vancouver. Point one was the Stanley Cup playoffs from Sunday, which we went through, the Habs and the Ducks winning. I think we've covered those series well enough. Number two is the NFL schedule release. We haven't got to the CFL stuff yet, but there isn't a lot there. But if there is, we'll get to it. Point three, Stanley Cup playoffs tonight, and Mitch and I made our picks. We both got Minnesota to beat Colorado tonight. Point four, Joe Adele hit a pair of solo homers. Jose Soriano struck out 7 over 7 and 2/3 innings to stop a three-start winless streak, and the Angels avoided a 3-game sweep by beating the Toronto Blue Jays 6-1 on Sunday. Jays home tonight to the Rays. Kevin Gausman going for the Bluebirds. By the way, Hour 1 is brought to you in part by Suds. Are you stuck for gift ideas? Suds gift cards available online at our location or at Costco. They're the ultimate for anyone who loves a clean ride. Point 5 is the NBA. I feel like not even NBA fans are following the NBA. Although, Coach DeBuck, you're watching here in Fort Lauderdale, you would have to admit it's very hard to escape when the Knicks are doing well, and they just completed a sweep of the 76ers yesterday. So I'm very aware of what's going on. I just don't think our audience particularly cares, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it other than mentioning it. 902-518-3033. Mitchell is out the way, so let's hear from the viewers. Glenn in Medicine Hat writes in and says, the best goal ever scored for the Oilers fan base was Jason Arnott's Stanley Cup winner for New Jersey because they ran him out of town. See, if I have the years right, which I'm quite certain that I do, that was 2000, right, Glenn? Because I was in Dallas at the George Strait Country Fest. All day long, started at noon, went till midnight. And I said to my wife, hey, we got offered luxury suite tickets to the Dallas Stars, New Jersey Devils, Game 6 of the Stanley Cup tonight. And she goes, we flew all the way here to watch George Strait. We're going to watch George Strait. And if it wasn't my guy, the king of country, I would have said, no, we're going to go to the Stanley Cup. They're going to hand it out tonight, which they did. That was the night. But the worst part was we spilled out of Texas Stadium. Who else was on the card that night? Tim McGraw, Kenny Chesney, Leanne Womack, Martina McBride, asleep at the wheel. Yeah. But we spilled out of the concert. The game went to many, many overtimes. So the game was still going on. And I remember just spilling out of this Texas Stadium. And I hadn't been to the States much at that point. This was 2000. And I'm trying to get the score, trying to get a cab, trying to get the score. And people are like, the score of what? The Stanley Cup. They're playing it downtown Dallas. They're like, what, who? I'm like, this wouldn't happen in Winnipeg. On Instagram, they have the poll up. Jason and Red Deer. On Instagram, 100% are voting yes. So don't get me into election talk, especially where I currently reside. But that's interesting. Jason in Red Deer says, are you sure about those poll results, Rod? The YouTube poll says 72% say no, they're not interested in the NFL schedule released Thursday. I would say 72% are lying. How about that? I will say this. Can you guys tell me, please, where you stand on this? I want viewer participation on this because I'm following the Canadian media. I am one on Twitter, specifically Toronto and Edmonton, because that's, I mean, in Montreal, they're talking about their team playing. The Toronto and Edmonton media don't have that luxury, so they're talking about the noise. Matthews wants out. McDavid wants out. This guy wants out. Like I'm so friggin' tired of it. I'd rather talk about something else. And the reason I bring that up is Jeremy from Winnipeg writes in. He says, I'd laugh if Austin Matthews left and he went off and excelled in the playoffs elsewhere. Well, that's probably what's gonna happen. That history tells you that it will, and that's forget about Edmonton. They run people off there too. But we're specifically sitting here talking about Toronto and Freddie Anderson leading Carolina potentially to the Stanley Cup. For sure, they're going to the Eastern Conference. And Mitch Marner leading the Stanley Cup playoffs in scoring, doing great things. I mean, does anybody notice? This is the one area where sports is different than life. Or similar, depends how you look at it. But you don't get better in life until you look in the mirror and realize, oh, wait, I'm the problem. And sport, the good teams do that. We've talked about this. That's what happened here in Florida. It's what happened in Tampa Bay. The owners said, what we're doing isn't working. What do we need to change? Well, specifically, they did that in Florida. I think they did it in Tampa, too, and look at the results. In Toronto, no. Tree living's the problem. Badcock's the problem. Shanahan's the problem. Dubas is the problem. Freddie Anderson's the problem. Mitch Marner's the problem. This guy's the problem. The mascot's the problem. Maybe you're the problem. Maybe Larry Tannenbaum's. I don't know. But how many players and coaches and GMs do you need to fire before you look at Calgary? I'm sorry to say, but it's no different. Sorry, but the truth hurts. Arlen Bruce checking in. Says, he says, RP, what a month so far in May. Shout out to my son, Arlen Bruce the fourth. Number 10, Arizona Rattlers with the big win Sunday, 66-14. He had 9 catches, 130 yards, and 2 tuds. Let him in. Well, that, I'm going to be talking a hell of a lot more CFL. I'm not sure the CFL likes that proposition or not. But I'm thinking, I'm following what's going on. I don't like where they're going, but doesn't mean I'm not a fan. And the point is this. From what I understand, and Arlen, you tell me if I have this right or wrong, but your son met with the commissioner, Stuart Johnston, in the summertime about reinstatement or instatement into the CFL because he's been banned, never played a game because of his betting issues at college. I don't like that. Arlen Bruce IV is just like his dad. He's the kind of guy that sells tickets, fireworks, gets fans excited. Why would you not want that in your league, particularly when his crimes were committed in another league? And by the way, betting isn't even a crime. Well, it is by NCAA standards, but this isn't the NCAA. So anyways, I had a friend text me from Winnipeg the other day. Yeah, I got friends in Winnipeg. And he said that Wade Miller addressed season ticket holders, the president of the Blue Bombers, last week, and said that Stuart Johnston is the best commissioner he's ever been around, best commissioner he's ever dealt with. And I'm like, well, what do you think he's going to say? What do you think Wade Miller is going to say? This is the worst commissioner. That's what I said, and I got fired about Jeffrey Orridge. So in the one thing with Arlen Bruce talking about his kid, Arlen Bruce IV, that kid should be playing in the CFL because he would sell. You should, I would think, in a league whose biggest problem is selling tickets and drawing eyeballs, would want a player that does exactly that. But no, they're taking a stand. These are similar to the 83-year-old scout getting his team fined because he told the young, beautiful TV reporter that she was good looking. And people have a lot of thoughts on that here, too. So many that I don't have enough to get to all of them. Utah Darren says, have your son try the United Football League. The CFL may take him to keep him from the UFL. I don't know about you, Utah Darren, if you were watching. I watched the UFL this weekend just because it's on the major networks. Comes up on my program grid and it's there, and it's okay. It's just okay. These aren't the best of the best of the best of college football because, as you know, the best of the best of the best are in the NFL. They're the leftovers. And I would suggest the best of the rest are in the CFL. Am I right or wrong on that? The UFL, to me, and it's sloppy. There's not a lot of continuity. The play isn't that high quality. Anybody with me on that? I feel like we have quite a few things that we can discuss when we come back in hour 2. And Jim Lang will be with us. Best-selling author, Canada's foremost NFL pundit. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
We are rocking and rolling into a brand new week. Not a lot has changed, however. We're still having a hell of a lot of fun here on your favorite daytime sports talk show. I know it's your favorite because you found us as we welcome the viewers across Nevada on Silver State Sports. Oh, the timing has worked out just perfectly that the Golden Knights are hopefully going deep in the Stanley Cup playoffs, because what we've been talking about here on this program today, football, hockey, football, a lot of NFL / has to do with the National Football League, which we'll get to that in a second. Our guest coming up in the guest segment today is our good friend Jim Lang. It's brought to you by Prairie Panels. Are you building a shop, a barn, a rink, or commercial space, or upgrading? The place to go is Prairie Panels. They provide high-quality insulated wall and roof panels designed for durability and energy efficiency. Check out their website and their work at prairiepanels.ca or look them up on Facebook. Jim Lang is a author of many leather-bound books, a best-selling author, Canada's foremost NFL expert. Always enjoy getting Jim Lang on the air. He covers the Leafs, too, and we'll get to them in a second. We talk a lot of hockey here, and from what I understand, people are enjoying that on both sides of the border with what we do. Point one is the Stanley Cup playoffs. In my world, it's what everybody's talking about. And there were two games on Sunday, a wonderful doubleheader, unless you're a Buffalo Sabres fan, because they got speedboated, motorboated by the Montreal Canadiens. The Habs scored thrice in the second period on the way to a 6-2 victory, and Montreal has a 2-1 series lead. And again, hands up on those who saw the Les Habitants steamrolling their way to the Eastern Conference Final and maybe even the Stanley Cup. Like at some point, and it's in my Monday morning goalie column that you can always read at rodpedersen.com every Monday, the pumpkin, the carriage is going to turn into a pumpkin here, or the glass slipper is going to turn into a pumpkin, however that works. For some of these teams, I mean, Montreal and Buffalo are both Cinderella teams. That's not going to last, and it looks like midnight struck for the Sabres already. But good for Montreal and their fans. They've been building for this. And what I say about Montreal Canadiens fans, they've been blowing up my phone, and it hasn't bothered me because they're good, longtime friends of mine, and they don't trash their own players. They don't trash ex-players, run them out of town. Not that I know of, maybe, but not recently that I can think of. They just love their team. And I feel like every fan base needs a lot more of that, which the Leafs don't have. And we'll get to that in a second, but we've got to talk about the Golden Knights because a lot of people come here. They know this is Vegas's hockey authority here on Silver State Sports, this program. Vegas is the better team. I don't think anybody would argue that. And the fact that the Ducks were 3-0 against the Golden Knights in the regular season doesn't mean anything. This is an entirely new Vegas team, although sometimes those old bad habits creep in. So it's 2-2. The Ducks beat Vegas 4-3 on Sunday night. And there is actually a Maple Leaf tie-in here that you all know what it is, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But you can't – nothing scares Anaheim. That's why – have you noticed this about young people these days? Nothing scares them. I feel like in our generation, a lot of we were afraid of things initially. These kids aren't. And good for them, by the way, because we wasted a lot of years being afraid of things, realized fear is an illusion. And that's what these Ducks are showing, and the young Montreal Canadiens too, for that matter. But my point is, Vegas hasn't been playing well. In the games, it's not shocking, and Captain Obvious will say when Vegas plays the way they can, they win. But when they play like a bunch of donkeys, which they did especially in Game 2, but they weren't much better in Game 4. Either way, it's going back to the Fortress now in a best-of-3. But Mitch Marner is leading the Stanley Cup playoffs in scoring. And they're not saying much in Toronto now, are they? They're not saying much in Toronto now about Mitch Marner, who they ran out of town. And here they are with another year that the Leafs missed the playoffs, another year where they're firing the general manager. And when I said there was a Leaf tie-in, 902-518-3033, Kirk in Toronto is written in on the Western Dodge text line, which, by the way, are you looking to trade up? Western Dodge makes it easy with top dollar trade-ins and unbeatable deals. Kirk says, hey, Rod. Where the hell is it here? He's written in a few messages here, but the penultimate one, look it up. Says rumors are that Gavin McKenna would prefer not to be drafted by the Leafs. Not surprised. Well, we largely don't deal in rumors here. I'd rather talk about what is happening versus what might or might not be happening. I get what you're saying. And then he goes on to say, hey, Rod, Kirk from Toronto, 45,000 packed BMO Field between Toronto FC and Inter Miami. And Messi didn't disappoint in a 4-2 win. My soccer knowledge or interest, if it any at all, is limited to Inter Miami. But I mean, I don't know when they're playing. I don't know when their season goes. I haven't been to a game. So thank you for informing me of that. The World Cup I'm finding particularly annoying. And it hasn't even started yet, has it? And I'll tell you what, as any good CFL guy or CFL fan, you all are annoyed by the World Cup because it's forcing BC Lions out of their stadium for 2 games and the Toronto Argonauts out of their stadium for 3 games. And oh my God, I'll be glad when it's over. If that makes me a negative Nancy, then put me in a dress. I don't care. Just being honest. Oh, Glenn in Medicine Hat writes, then he says, great story from Dallas, RP. Oh, thank you. You know what's true story? True story. 2000, Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final was being played at Reunion Arena in Dallas, and I was there with my wife. Well, not at the game. I was in Dallas for the George Strait Country Fest, which, in retrospect, obviously, he didn't disappoint, George. But I tried to convince my wife to go to the hockey game because they ended up handing the Stanley Cup out that night, but I didn't win that one. Didn't win many. Still looking to win. Yeah, we got a lot of losses. We're off-roading. We got it in 4x here. Which, by the way, I haven't even had a time to talk about my weekend yet. But you also never asked. So BW in Edmonton writes in, he says, Connor McDavid wants to stay in Toronto and publish reports. But there's a small window left. Yeah, I'm not interested in it. Didn't you hear what I'm not interested in it? Who is it? Somebody here wrote in. Vancouver Eric says, agreed, RP. The World Cup can go away now, please. That's why you all are here, because we stick to what we know about. NHL, NFL, CFL, which we haven't even got to the NFL stuff, but trust me, we're going to next when Jim Lang joins us. Who the hell was it? Oh, Dan in Winnipeg writes, and he says, Rod, who do you think will bring out the torch for the next Habs game? Ole, ole, ole. Well, my good friend Bob Merrier, you heard me. Actually, this all ties in. Thank you, Dan, from Winnipeg for saying that. Bob Merrier was my good friend who was supposed to go in for emergency cancer surgery last week, and then they postponed the procedure. Can you imagine what a mind screw that would be? Bob has a place in South Beach, Florida, so I'm like, you know what? This is Friday. I'm like, I'm going to rip down there and check it out. I just felt like it. I got off the air at 2. I was in South Beach by 3. And I was ready to come home by 7. I'm like, I'm too old for this place. It was, I'm like, it's Friday afternoon. I'm too old for this. But it didn't stop me from getting 16,000 steps on in South Beach, and Bob's place looked great. He's down here now. It's a great place to come when you're dealing with it should be a great place to come anytime, but especially when you're dealing with stuff. Anyways, who do I think it'll be? I'm going to out you, Bob. He says it's going to be Carey Price. So, who was it last game? Who was it last night? Oh, my God. They've had Chris Knuckles now, and another close friend. They've had Serge Savard, Yvan Convoyer. Yeah. 902-518-3033 is the text line. It's brought to you by Western. Where the hell was I? What'd I say? We're off-roading. The Quick Six show topics are brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel Group, the preferred travel partner of the RP show, and the BC Lions. When it comes to sports trips, group travel, or your next great getaway, trust the pros who handle every detail so you can enjoy the journey. Contact Neil Chark with Uniglobe Carefree Travel. He wants to do an NFL trip, and oh my God, this is really coming together well. The poll question today is, are you excited for the NFL schedule release? 100% of respondents on Instagram are saying yes. According to viewer Jason, he says 78% watching on YouTube are saying no. I would suggest 72% are lying. That's probably the CFL crowd. But either way, Neil is very excited. Neil Chark from Uniglobe Carefree Travel. We sold out that Blue Jays trip twice. Now he wants to know where you all want to go. And we can't pick anywhere until that NFL schedule comes out. It's coming out Thursday. So put me down for a yes, dog. But decades of calling games like I did, literally thousands of games, I never, ever, ever got into the schedule release because it was just simply, give me the schedule, let me know where I'll be and when, and I'll be there. Life's different now in that we plan our lives around, fans plan their lives around the schedule. The teams, the players and the coaches and the broadcasters do not. It's just a job. But now it's pretty exciting, and I've told Neil that I feel like you people kind of want to go to Dallas. Would I be right? And this probably wouldn't surprise many of you here on the radio in South Florida. I was driving to the gym this morning. What are they talking about? NFL schedule release Thursday and the Dolphins. And my guy Joe Rose predicts 7-8 wins this year for Miami. But it's going to be fun, said Joe. Just vote on the poll. Tell me where your interest level is on the NFL schedule release. How they've made it another, as the leagues call it, tent pole event in their calendar is just magical. It's 1:11 Eastern, by the way. 11:11 Mountain for the live viewing audience. Visualize a perfect outcome, the perfect person you want to be, and then be that person. See how that works out. A lot of viewers ripping in here. This is the... you guys, with all your CFL stuff that you guys want to talk about, you realize hour one, that's when we do that, right? I'll read a couple of them. Wilfin Steinbach writes in Manitoba, says, hey, Rod, the CFL commissioner is making changes, makes news, which the league needs, mostly common sense changes approved by the teams. Oh, okay, so I was mentioning last hour that a friend of mine in Winnipeg, Blue Bomber season ticket holder, was at an event the team held last week prior to training camp, and the president of the team, Wade Miller, said the commissioner of the league is the best he's ever worked with, Stuart Johnston. Like I said, what else is he going to say? But Wilfin Steinbeck says, hey, if Wade Miller likes him, that's good enough for me. See, and that's why he said it. So I'll sing from the same hymn book. Carlos in Indiana says, while I voted yes on the NFL schedule, I would say I'm more interested rather than excited. Well, again, back to how the NFL does things. They dropped a little nugget Monday morning. My Dallas Cowboys will be playing in New York Sunday night, prime time, week 1, against the New York Football Giants. John Harbaugh's debut is against our team. Great. Do we have a point spread on that yet? 902-518-3033 is the text line as we roll. Jim Lang coming in next. The poll question is brought to you by Country Thunder. The biggest party of the summer is coming to Craven, Saskatchewan, and they would love the Americans to show up too. July 9th to the 12th, featuring Lainey Wilson and Creed, plus the RP show. Get your tickets now at countrythunder.sk. Just $20 down secures your weekend pass. While we're at it, and as I'm looking at the read here for Pump Jacks, we do the picks every day. Picks are slowing down. There's only one game tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's Colorado at Minnesota. Colorado leads that second round series 2-1, but Minnesota won the last one, game 3, to get back in this thing, and I think they're going to win tonight. Quick and easy. Don't take that to the bank, but we feel that Minnesota will win. The picks are for Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early and stay late at the place where friends meet. Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Blue Jays lost 6-1 Sunday to the LA Angels. So the sweep didn't happen. Jays are home to the Tampa Bay Rays tonight. Kevin Gausman going for the Bluebirds. NBA playoffs on the Monday night. Detroit at Cleveland. Pistons lead the series 2-1. And the Oklahoma City Thunder visit the Lakers looking to sweep it. I want to ask Jim Lang this. Can you remind me? It was a thing across the ESPN ticker this morning. Is OKC's dominance bad for the NBA? I don't know. I'm not really watching. I mean, the Knicks just swept the Sixers. I mean, I know that. Where I live, you can't ignore what's going on with New York sports teams, specifically the Knicks for sure, and a lot more Mets fans than Yankees fans. But again, I'm not really paying attention to what's going on in the association. Sorry. Raptors are out, so am I. We'll be talking some Leafs, Stanley Cup playoffs, and a lot of NFL. Big Raider fan, Jim Lang. When we come back, you're watching the RP Show on Silver State Sports.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And like clockwork, the second we said that we're going to talk NFL, everybody perked up and the comments have been coming in. They're calling him Langer. I've never called him Langer. Is that a nickname of yours, Jim Lang? They call you Langer?
Yeah, that a lot of the hockey guys, and that's kind of like they just. I know if you're at some of the charity events, the alumni just call me Langer. So yeah, that's my Instagram, Langer's World, because I get called that so often.
Okay, well, I always like Clubber, as you know, and from time to time I mix it up and call you Jimbo. But with the schedule, or go ahead. What?
One of the alumni that's called me that before is the man that brought the torch, one of the nicest men you'll ever meet in NHL past and present, Kirk Muller. He brought the torch last night.
Right. Thank you. Okay, well, we got some bets. I'm saying Carey Price. You know Bob Merrier. You know Bob.
I've known him for 33 years.
He says it's going to be Carey Price.
Okay, if it is Carey Price, next home game, my vote's Serge Savard with his connection as a player and a general manager, and he was the architect behind the 93 team.
All right. Okay, Jim. Okay. I love it. I could talk about this forever, but Scott in Vancouver says, Jim, are you trapped in a service elevator? Every time you're on, everybody asks that. I haven't communicated that ever till now.
It's for the viewers. We got this home studio, and it is like the service elevator baffling, but it gives good soundproofing, and it keeps my dog and cat out of there. And it's like a nice old like home studio with nice soundproofing. So yeah, and then for my wife, for her personal mental health, she keeps me trapped in sort of a mini shipping container freight elevator in part of the basement, so I don't bug her.
Perfect place to hide. That's kind of what I'm sensing for sure. NFL schedule release on Thursday. Scale of 1 to 10. What's your excitement level?
I'm usually about a 7 or an 8. The big part of it for me now is so many international games, and what Roger Goodell and the NFL has done the last few years has gone beyond just Mexico City and London. If you think about it, Melbourne, Australia, Rio de Janeiro, Paris, then the Mexico City, 3 games in London, 2 games in Munich. And for a lot of the fans of these teams, like Dallas Cowboys against the Ravens, as you well know, fans of the Cowboys and the Steelers and the Bills and certain key teams, they'll travel to South America or Australia or Europe to follow their team. And I think a big part of the release is the fans of those teams starting to book the travel the second the schedule drops.
I want to ask you, you would be the guy, and I'm not going to ask you here, maybe later in this interview if we have time, because you've been covering the NFL longer than me, how they went from where they were to where they are. It's a hell of a story. How they've done it, I don't know, but it's remarkable to make it a global league. But just hang on. Jason in Red Deer writes in, he says, I can't wait to hear what Langer has to say about the Raiders heading into this season. That's your team. We're airing in Nevada. How you feeling?
Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited about how the draft went. I'm excited about a lot of things and new beginnings, but I'm also realistic enough to know that this is going to be a learning season and there'll be stumbles. I can remember, I'm old enough to remember when the Dallas Cowboys started their dynasty. They were 1-15 the first year with Troy Aikman and Jimmy Johnson. And 2 years later, they were a juggernaut. This is a year to hope for the best if you're a Raider Nation and expect bad things. Expect mistakes, expect stumbles, trying to build to what Seattle built last year. Seattle wasn't like right away. It took time. So I think if you're a fan of the Raiders and basically stripping it down and building it back up again, it'll be a trying year. Could they win 4, 5, 6 games? Probably. But don't be thinking playoffs or anything like that. Just let them start laying the foundation for next year and beyond.
When you said you're old enough, my mind flashed to Staubach days. No, you weren't talking about that. You were talking about them drafting. No, you were talking about Aikman. I'm old too. I guess we're old. I didn't feel like that long ago. I guess it was a very long time ago. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. It's okay. We get it. I guess sometimes I just need to be reminded. Speaking of the Cowboys, Jeremy in Winnipeg writes in, he says, maybe I'm fooled by Jerry, but the Cowboys seem different this year. I'm making a crazy prediction they'll make the NFC Championship. He's not even a Cowboys fan. I am. I'm not that optimistic, but where are you on the boys?
They are such a frustrating team because I think there's a lot of great talent at key positions for the Dallas Cowboys. level. And can they be an elite 4, 5, 6 team in the National Football League? And I don't know. Part of their season is they're going on a road trip to South America. Is that going to throw them off this year? Can they stay healthy? For me, for a team like that who is good, but maybe not one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the league, I think Dallas Cowboys, their health and their injuries and how they manage that is crucial. But I think there's a lot of key pieces in place there with the Dallas Cowboys.